Corey, what do you think that is?
It looks like a folder of some sort.
Nope, it is not a folder. It is a lethal weapon in the game of business. It looks like a folder, just a simple folder, but it is a lethal weapon. When you have a plan and you use it, the use of that plan can be one of the biggest competitive advantages and weapons that you have in your arsenal as a business owner. So a plan, you don't work, it is just a folder on a shelf. But if you do work it, then it is a lethal weapon. So do you want to know if there are things that are working or things you should change while they're happening, or do you want to wait till you're already 2 months into the next year? I think we know the answer to that. Here we are, Chad Boyle, CPA. We are Ascend FinTech Solutions. I will let my smarter, younger, better looking brother, my brother who taught me that when you share your screen, you can share just a tab and you don't have to share the whole screen. This is the guy that did that for me. Life changing. Introduce yourself, Corby.
I mean, I think you just did, but yeah, just share a tab. It's pretty amazing. Try it
Yeah,
sometime.
he knows all the tricks. He knows all the tricks. All right, here we are. We are talking about Pillar 3. We are continuing to discuss Pillar 1, Pillar 2, Pillar 3. And so we're going to talk about work the plan, turning your plan into action, the way you actually run a business. So Pillar 3 is the quiet pillar because building the plan, that's where all the excitement is. You're all jazzed up about all the things you're going to do and what they're going to bring to you, all the money you're going to be putting in your pocket as you're growing your business. Corey, as you grow your business, what would you do with all the extra money that you'd have in your pocket?
One of two things: either reinvest in the business, or the answer that you want to hear, and that's to buy an airplane.
Buy an airplane. I knew you were going to say that. So there you go. That's where all the fun is building the plan. But you know what? Working the plan is the part that actually changes the business. That's why it's such a lethal weapon. So why do the good plans, you spend all this time making them, you're excited about the airplane, why do they end up on the shelf? Well, there's a few reasons, and I mean, I don't have to tell you guys that are watching this. The fires never stop. Every day it's something new. The truck breaks down, patio floods, you got payroll coming up. You know, the plan, oh, you can put that off. It's not urgent, it's not a fire, so it's going to wait. And then the review the plan, that keeps slipping because of things that come up. You can always just say, hey, I can look at that tomorrow, I can look at that next week. But then next week, the crew's short again, and you find yourself kind of in the same situation. Then you find out too late, so the tax return shows up, and you start working on that in February. I mean, if you're getting the information in February, you're already 2 months into the next year. So you can't do anything about that previous year if you're already in the next year, and then you're already almost 2 months into the current year, and you could have already course corrected. So that is another reason. Then the plan lives in a folder. It was right, just never touched a single decision you made all year. So that's why good plans end up on the shelf. So the plan becomes real in three simple ways. So you take it off the shelf, it becomes your weapon. Year one becomes your budget. The first year of your plan is your targets for that first 12 months. Then second, you're going to track it every month. You're going to track your results against your plan. You got a few numbers to track, and we're not talking about hours on end. We're talking about 15 minutes a month. That's really all it takes to view the numbers, make sure you're on track. And then you want to be consistent with it. You want to review it every quarter, look at the plan, what happened, and determine if there are adjustments that need to be made. We live in a dynamic world. Most likely there will be adjustments that need to be made. So let's go to step one here, which is year one becomes a real budget. You take the first year of your plan and you turn it into 12 monthly targets. So that becomes your annual budget. You take the first year of your five-year plan, break it down. Every line turns into a number that becomes your target, essentially 12 targets for that first year. So revenue by service line. This is important. You want to not only have revenue, but you want to have it by service line, job type, however you break that down. You want to understand each one of those. What are you going to do? What are your actions that you're going to take? Because obviously those take different capabilities, requirements. They have a different margin profile. So you just want to make sure that those are planned distinctly so that you can capture those nuances. Then the gross margin target, you want to make sure that you have that. And again, that you want that's accurate by the job types. Sales isn't enough. You got to drive sales, but you need to drive, this is where it comes into talking about driving profitable sales. Then you go to operating expenses. What are the business expenses? What do you need in order to support the business, sustain the business, and to stay on plan? And this could be you need to spend more money. You may need to spend more on marketing, or maybe you need another superintendent to handle more jobs at one time. So those are obviously things that you would look at as you're putting together your annual budget. And then your owner pay, you don't want to forget this. You need a real wage, and it should be built into your budget and planned for. So that takes us to number two. Once you got these basically 12 monthly targets, then you want to track that. 15 minutes a month. So here it is. You're tracking a few numbers, and you want to get, these are the ones that are most impactful. So we're not talking about every single line item you could possibly think of on your P&L and your balance sheet, but really these key numbers here, 5 to 8, they may be, these may work for you. There may be ones that are different, but these are the ones that are going to tell you, are you tracking to your plan? You take 15 minutes, you look at your revenue versus plan, your gross margin percentage, AR days, so how fast are you getting paid, your cash position, and then the job count by type. Those are the items you want to track, 15 minutes a month, and that will give you the feedback you need and require to know where you're at, so then you have the data to make good decisions to take action in your business. And we kind of touched on this, but the difference is knowing in March of the current year where you stand so that you have time to react and steer out of any issue that you're seeing, not in February, like we talked about, where the year is over and you're already 2 months into the next year. So where you could have already course corrected by using this 15 minutes a month, you're going to be able to do that course correction on a monthly basis. So it's going to be a lot of small changes versus, probably one big change as you kind of realize what exactly is occurring in the business. If you even have that visibility when you get around to reviewing your numbers for the tax return, which, by the way, I mean, the tax return and the numbers that go into that may not be best for making decisions in your business. The tax return requires a certain format of numbers, and that is for the tax return and the information that is required by our friends at the IRS. But it does not necessarily make for the best format of information to make decisions. Review it quarterly. So 60 minutes, 4 times a year. And again, this isn't a deep dive audit, but this is a working session talking through your numbers. So you want to basically approach it like this, what happened, actuals versus plan, your revenue, margin, costs. How did the actual results differ from your plan, and really understanding why it happened. A month where your 18K under plan has a reason. Was it weather, delayed job? You had, a lot of equipment breakdown. Maybe you lost some sales or what have you. But really understanding why that happened is going to allow you to take action in order to course correct and all that good stuff. It's going to tell you like what to change. Is it a pricing thing? Do you need another team member? Um, are there things that are running through your P&L that you potentially don't use anymore? So that's another good thing about this. I mean, it may not be about what's working or what's not, but it's maybe stuff you're paying for that you don't even use and you just need to get rid of it. And then obviously if things are working, what can you do to get it working, faster or more in order to get you to your targets faster? So what changes when you do work the plan? So really, when you don't have the plan and you're not, or even if you have it and you're not working it, you're kind of you're just winging it, right? I mean, you're walking into Monday, you didn't review the plan. You're not exactly sure where you stand according to that plan. When a slow month comes along, like it's going to give you that confidence and the perspective to to move through that, knowing that you've detected that a slow month is coming. You probably caught it sooner and probably during the month versus after the month, and you're able to make adjustments a lot quicker. So it's that slow month that maybe turns into 2 or 3. You kind of snap right out of it and get back on track a lot sooner. So then, yeah, we already kind of hit on this. You learned the year was rough when the taxes are filed. And if you got that whole business in your head, it's really hard for your team to kind of see it and be tangible, and for them to connect the dots on what they're doing in their day-to-day job and how that relates to your plan and where you're trying to take the business. So after like you're walking in, you're confident, you know your plan, the actions that you're taking are in support of that plan. And like we've talked about, when you have a plan, it not only tells you what to do, but it tells you what you're not going to do. So exactly the actions that you're taking support that plan. Then you find issues a lot quicker, so you're able to adjust and make changes a lot faster. Things that are working, you can see those working in real time. Speed those up, get more of that good result that you've driven. So I think that covers the 3 kind of areas. Working your plan, building your plan. You can do this yourself. I mean, we've walked through the system. We've given you all the key points here, but nobody does, and we know why, because the fires that we talked about at the beginning of that, they're always there, and they always will be. So our job is to hold your plan so that the fires that you're fighting in your day to day, they won't burn it down. So if you want this built for your plan, you'd like to discuss it, you have some questions, we'll turn year 1 of your plan into a real budget, track it every month. We'll build your numbers around it. All you got to do is book a free 30-minute call. Go.ascendfts.com/calendar. My brother taught me that too, that's a / everybody. So I think we've covered it. Pillar 3, working the plan. It's a lethal weapon. Anything to add, Corey, before we wrap up?
Nope. I think we get this marks the end of all 3 pillars. So it's exciting that we got
did it. We did it. We gave you the tools. We're happy to talk about doing this for you and we can build this for your business, just book that call. go.ascendfts.com/calendar. All right, everybody.
Awesome.
This was fun as usual.